Hello, good evening. Welcome back to Wisdom and Confessionals DreamO'rs Meeting podcast number 13. How are you today? Hope you are doing well. Okay, give me a while as I try to troubleshoot some problems that seems to be happening right now. It says an error has occurred in YouTube, but well, it seems okay. Okay, on the console, it says that there's an error occurred, but when I go to YouTube, okay, I can see myself streaming well. So yeah, just let's hope that, everything is okay. So if you can hear me, you can see me well, can you put in the chat box that you can see me well and everything is good? Okay, let me just say hi to everyone on the chat box. So, oh, there's an error in the chat box as well. Okay, there's error in the chat box, but seems like the chat box is not working, but the rest seems to be okay. Okay, anyway, let's do this by faith. Yeah, I hope that everyone is well, doing well. If you are Malaysia or Singapore or this part of the world in Asia, we're going to be celebrating our Chinese New Year soon. So this weekend will be Chinese New Year. And I'm looking back to go back to Malaysia myself. We'll be traveling with my daughter on Thursday. Then the next day, my wife and my son will be going back as well. So my second daughter will not be following us, so she will stay in Singapore. Yeah, just a short trip for the family to go back and celebrate Chinese New Year. So that's a once a year thing here in Asia. I think in China, most part of China as well. We celebrate Chinese New Year once a year. It's a time for family reunion. Looking forward to the New Year's Eve, which is a reunion dinner where the whole family comes together, yeah, to catch up. So I've always loved that tradition because, yeah, even though I was in KL the most of last year and I only came back like a month or so again, but it's still exciting to take a break, and travel back to see my mom and my brother, my sister, and my other relatives over there in KL. So how's everybody? So I hope everybody is doing well too. Do you celebrate Chinese New Year? If you do, yeah, put in the chat box if the chat box is working for you. If you are not celebrating Chinese New Year, maybe let us know. The weekend, what are you doing? Today, what are you drinking as well for this DreamO'rs meeting? Okay, for me, it's just plain water, the healthiest drink you can drink, and the simplest thing. Okay, you can enjoy. So that's water for me. Uh, yeah, speaking of water, I think today I had the privilege of somebody who's a dreamer who follow my podcast, and he contacted me because he know that I'm in Singapore and he's from New Zealand, so he came back to Singapore to do some family stuff. So he knew that I was in town, so he reached out to me and he wanted to meet up to ask me some questions that he have about what I do, about my coaching, my mentoring consultancy that I have, how I launch off from my 9 to 5 day job to start my social enterprise and to do my consultancy and of course to run the non-profit that I have together with a group of friends. So I had a good time catching up with him. We really talked some things, some stuff that is truly dear to me, topics that that resonates well with me. So we have some discussion about those important topics. So and because he follows me, he said that he's looking forward to tonight's DreamO'rs meeting, and then he asked me what would I be talking about, and I say I do not know. Well, that's nature of what we do here in Wisdom and Confessionals. I want to make it as candid, as live as possible. Really wanting to speak from my heart rather than speak from a script. Okay, so and after he left, and I start thinking about, okay, what am I going to do tonight? I really pray. I ask God for that topic. Actually, nothing came to me. So, and I'm always the type that feel that if you have nothing to say, then don't say anything. Okay, so I really wanted to make this episode an episode that says that, right? Sometimes nothing, sometimes silence is what is required. Okay, in our lives, in a world where everything is so busy, we are filled with bombardment of media, of things, of activities. Of course, COVID has halted that a little bit in our lives, but now that the economy opened up and traveling is made possible again, and we are all asked to go back to office, we may find that busyness becomes the core of the day again. Then we can get back to business. So in in just societies like this, and our everyday life like this, right? Sometimes silence is all that is required. If you can get some time to be alone, some time to just sit in silence, with people you love, and just not say anything, and just go into a time of really contemplating and thinking. I think that's the best thing. Then of course I can't run this episode and then be silent for the whole half an hour or so. So what I did is then I thought about this topic, okay, and this topic is about the 7 things that heals and set us free, but they are not costly to us. Okay, they are things that are simple, and most importantly, they are free. You don't have to pay money in order to get it. So that challenges me to think about the 7 things in my life that we seemingly take for granted, but it has so much impact and so much benefit to my life. So I thought of these 7 things that I just want to quickly share with you as we go through this DreamO'rs meeting. And I feel that less is more. So today, please don't think about anything profound. Don't expect anything deep from me. I think it's time actually to strip down to the minimal, and let's talk about the most basic thing that makes the biggest difference in our lives, and sometimes we just take for granted, okay, and we never consider them important. So as I go through the list, you may find that some of them is pretty obvious, but don't take it for granted. Sometimes the obvious things are the things that we take for the most for granted. Okay, there may be some things that you have never thought of also, that may hit you to maybe focus on this year. Okay, as we launch into this new year with new dreams, or some of you with dreams from last year, you may find that the one or two of these elements may hit you hard, you might want to just focus on implementing, these few things. So I hope you find something of benefit in this list. Okay, so simple list. So I will just go through very fast. One of my ambition and goal is also to make our Dreamers meeting short and sharp, until a time where I get you guys to interact with me more, and type in the chat box your questions and the things that you have feedback on, right? And make it a two-way communication until that happens, right? So just let me try to make it as short and as sharp as possible for you. Okay, so now these 7 things that heals and set us free, that is free, that's not costly, cost you nothing, that is easily available and easily implemented. Okay, what are they? Okay, number 1 is what I just showed you. Water. Yeah, as simple as water is the number 1 thing that heals and set us free, that we take for granted the most. Do you know that 60% of our body is water? Okay, is water, and it is important for us to be hydrated, okay, as much as possible. I have a graphic, okay, but I forgot to set it up, that shows the percentage of water that is in our body. Okay, let me see whether I can find it. Okay, I downloaded it, but okay. But too bad I can't. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have the graphic here, but I think in that graphic it shows, that the majority of the composition of our body, our different parts of the body, our muscles, our lungs, our heart, comprises of water. So water is what we are made of the most, okay, and it doesn't help, okay, that we go through our day, go through our life, right, dehydrated. Okay, it's only recently that I started to drink more water, and I feel that it helps me so much in the vitality that I experience, and just generally feeling feeling stronger, and in my regimen of going to the gym, building muscles, right, I also found out that water is really fits your muscle growth. So I've been drinking a lot of water, and I know some of you may struggle with drinking water because of the access to water during the day. Okay, some of you may not work in the office all the time, but you're always on the go. So I encourage you to bring a water bottle wherever you go, and start drinking water. Ever since I started my fitness regimen, what happens is that I drink more water because I spend a lot of time in the gym, and in the gym there is endless supply of water. Every time in between, sometimes workouts, right, I will just go to the water station and drink water. And I remember last time when I was working in the office, going to the water station. I remember going there regularly, getting on my drink. Then later on, when my work became more outward bound, that means outdoor bound, I have to travel to clients' place and do projects outside the office. I always find myself not drinking enough water, because I was, and I am still to a certain extent. I love coffee very much. So every time I'm out, let's say I'm in a cafe or I'm with people, right, I'm always drinking coffee instead. And as you know, that coffee dehydrates. So it's important for us to top up with water. So I've been living a big portion of my life not drinking enough water. Okay, Okay, and now that I'm drinking more, I can really feel the vitality, because a big portion of our body is water. So we got to always top ourselves up with water to maintain that vitality and the health. Okay, that is so required when we pursue our dreams. So number one is really think about water and appreciate water. Yeah, I know some of us, we before we eat, right, we give thanks for the food, right? But how about, appreciating water, that we give thanks every time we drink as well. Of course, we don't have to say it out, but in our heart, just be grateful that we have a cup of water. And water is maybe it's most of the time free. So I know it will cost a little bit more if you order water from the restaurants or where, but there's always water cooler around. And in Singapore, you can actually drink water straight from the tap. So there's no excuse if you are in this part of the world, Singapore, or even not, if you cannot drink directly from the tap, right? I'm sure you can afford a few cents, right, to buy water, okay, when you're outside. So make sure consume water, and yeah, just the simplest thing, okay, and they can make so much difference to your health, and not be dehydrated. I think it's worthwhile, thinking and considering this element number one, water. So element number two I want to talk about is, okay, following W, right, water, right, I have another W, okay, I call this walk. Okay, as you know, some of you, that I started going to the gym, started my fitness regimen, and one of the things that I do in between my weight training is to do conditioning. And my conditioning is actually trying to walk 10,000 steps, okay, every time I do conditioning. So I try to walk as much as I can. I remember last time before I relocate to KL around 2 years ago. I remember that time for me, I'm staying in a place called Upper Changi, and Upper Changi is like maybe 2 MRTs or two train stations away from Tampines, 2 or 3 stations away from Tampines. And in order to walk there, I think it requires maybe 30 minutes or 35 minutes like that, to walk there. So I remember before I go to Malaysia, I always thought that it's impossible to walk there, right? And that it takes a special occasion, right, that I really want to walk, that I will walk to Tampines station. But that was then, okay. But now, actually, I walk to Tampines station, which is where my gym is, almost every time. Okay, I want to go to the gym. Okay, so walking really helps me, because walking also in the morning also help me implement the third thing that I want to share with you, that heals and set us free, which is the sun. Okay, so by walking, I also get the sunlight. Okay, and the sunlight, as you know, is vitamin D. It's free vitamin D. You don't have to go to the shops, the vitamin shops, to get that nutrient into your body, but naturally a good source of vitamin D from the exposure to the sun. Okay, I know in modern life, or even you've been taught or you've been advised, right, not to go under the sun because you are afraid of cancer and all these things. Okay, I'm not sure about the research around this area, but I think this is what is commonly propagated, right? Don't go to the sun because they're afraid of cancer, so you have to use umbrella, and sometimes you don't even go under the sun at all. The sun actually helps us also it helps in terms of our mental wellness. I know people who are depressive, that goes through this illness of mental depression. They most of the time they find themselves not being under the sun, but they keep themselves indoor, okay, maybe in front of a screen or in front of the TV, and doing indoor things, not coming out at all to get sun exposure. So I think for your mental health, it helps also that for mental health, it helps that you get exposure to the sun. Okay, I don't know whether is that my wife or somebody at the door. Okay, never mind. I'm doing this podcast in my living room, so yeah, so people will come in, come out. So you don't mind if I get interrupted halfway. Okay, but I think that wasn't a knock by my wife. Okay, I think maybe in the back. So yes, so 2 and 3 is walk. Walk is to exercise as well, to go into bodily movement, to live an active life, to exercise our muscles on a daily basis. These things are free. They heal. They make us healthy, and they really set us free. Okay, from things that seemingly more complicated. Okay, that people always say that we need. Okay, that if it's so simple, it must be no good for you. Okay, but that's not true. So simple things, walking, exercising is good, and also the sun. Okay, get exposure to the sun to get your vitamin D, and then for the people who are guys, okay, and you're concerned about your T levels, your testosterone. Okay, I always have a hard time pronouncing that word. Your T levels, I call it in short, to improve your sex drive, your libido, and also testosterone for your muscle gain if you go to the gym. So if you're concerned about that, right, being exposed to the sun really helps increase that. So research has says that the T levels in guys is deteriorating. The levels that we used to have, an average man, and now is really quite terrible. So please don't forget the sun. If you are afraid of cancer or whatever, please apply sun cream or whatever, but make sure you get exposure to the sun. It's natural, it's God-given, and it's good for you. Okay, so that's the third thing, the sun. And the fourth thing, okay, it relates to this thing called sleep. Okay, I think research has tell us also the modern lifestyle does not encourage sleep because there's just so much stimulation. I remember when I was younger, the TV broadcast, okay, we watch TV, right, and then the TV broadcast will always end before midnight, right? Then they have the national song, come out, and then after that, it's a still picture of a fat man, or a still picture of somebody, and that's the end of the broadcast. So before midnight. Okay, but today, not only that TV goes on to past midnight. There's midnight show, midnight talk show, and all these things, but there is it says that the encoder is not working. Okay, I hope it's not interrupting the broadcast, but anyway I will continue. Okay, anyway I will continue because there's no way that I know whether it's working or not. Okay, never mind. I think it's working. I think the local recording to my hard disk has stopped. Okay, but I think I'm still streaming. So I was saying that the broadcast is ending later on TV, but then we all don't watch TV anymore, right? We watch TV on demand, video on demand. Okay, we watch Netflix or we watch YouTube, and we watch all these sources, right? That is 24 hours a day, and we sleeping later, and then we end up not having enough sleep because the next day we may have work or school, then we need to go to school. So society has made us and the modern life has made us lack sleep in our life, and when you lack sleep, you really gonna lack the attention the next day for you to be the sharpest, okay, in order to achieve your goals or your dreams or whatever that you are pursuing. So yeah, make sure you get enough sleep. Okay, I've been sleeping early, and I'm trying to get my 7-8 hours sleep, and I'm doing it more regularly also as part of my fitness thing, because sleep actually help build muscles. So in order for me to maintain the gains that I get in the gym, right, I also sleep, okay, to actually feed my muscle in that sense. So that's number 4, sleep. Okay, number 5 is something that I've been talking about, okay. It's also free, and you can do it anywhere you want, okay, as much as you can. Okay, it's something very natural called breathing. Okay, you know how I advocate breathing, because a lot of us do not breathe properly. We have shallow breathing, which means that when we breathe in, right, the air doesn't fill our lung. Okay, it just goes to the surface, to our where our throat is, before we breathe out. So I advocate deep breathing. Breathing is the first thing that we do, okay, when we come out from our mother's womb. Okay, the first thing we do, okay, the doctor will cut the umbilical cord, right, and then give us a pad or something like that, and we start to breathe, right? So breathing is the first thing we do, and I feel one of the most important thing that we do. In fact, it is the most important thing we do, because when we stop breathing, right, we no longer exist, we die, right? So it's important for us to learn the foundation of deep breathing. Okay, that is to breathe, okay, first of all, not through your mouth but through your nose. Okay, and when you breathe through your nose, make sure you breathe a deep breath, okay, that fills your entire lung right down to your abdomen part, the lower part of your body, and make sure that it reaches all the way down, right, before you breathe out again. I want to advocate really breathing through your nose, because your mouth is not designed for breathing. Okay, your mouth is designed for eating. Okay, it's your nose that is designed for breathing. Okay, I think I shared with you before that when you breathe in, it is said, right, that there is a nerve at the end of your nose hair, okay, the hair that protects your nose and the things that goes into your nose, right, that it will trigger something that is good for your mental health and for your well-being. Okay, so to make sure that the air goes through your nose. Okay, one of the very effective thing that helps me breathe through my nose is this activity called mewing. Okay, it's MEWING. Mew. It's by this person called John Mew, or can't remember his name, right? Who did a research saying that we will improve our facial structure if we implement this mewing action by having our tongue being placed on top of our mouth. Okay, so have our tongue land on the top of our mouth and keep it there. Okay, will help restructure your face such a way that you will have a better jawline. Okay, so your jaw is meant to develop to have a sharper jawline when you place your tongue above the surface of your mouth. Okay, because it's meant to be designed that way. So when you breathe, you don't open your mouth. You see, if you have your tongue land on the top surface of your mouth like that, you naturally have your mouth closed. Okay, and if your mouth is closed, because your tongue on top of your mouth, right, will obstruct the airway into your mouth, right? You have to then breathe through your nose, right? So that's something that I do, and I think that by doing that, it helps me with my jawline as well. Okay, that's for aesthetical reasons, and also to restore us back to actually being nose breathers again. So yeah, take breathing seriously. You can learn about it. There are lots of videos. There are a lot of research being done on breathing. Okay, and at the end of my videos also, I will lead you in the time of breathing as well, because breathing is just so important. So, so the breath is life. Okay, so when you breathe properly through your nose, okay, with deep breathing and then exhale out, right? You find that it resets your system. It provides oxygen to all parts of your body. Your cells require oxygen to survive, right? And also, as you breathe, also you will be burning calories, okay? And it's also to help you lose weight. So breathing, please don't take for granted, and keep doing it, and keep doing it properly. And here in Old Human School, I will continue to remind you, and I'll continue to guide you, okay, in proper breathing techniques, okay? And remember mewing, okay? Try it and see if it helps you in your breathing. And as a plus, okay, maybe it help you in having a better jawline as well. If you're a guy, it's important. Okay, if you're a girl, it's also important, but yeah, maybe not as important as a guy to have a nice, well-defined jawline. So yeah, this is just my take. Okay, for females, yeah, it may be important to you also, but I don't know much about female things. Okay, anyway, that's number 5. Okay, number 6. Okay, number 6, the things that heals and that set us free. Okay, I have this thing called things that you have in your hand, not things that you do not have. So another way to put it with things is also money. Maybe money in your pocket, not the money that you have not earned. Okay, why I say that is because these things do not need money, because you already have it. Those things are free. These things are free because you already have it. So when I say things in the hand, I'm talking about all the things that you already have, not the things that you do not have. So a lot of times we worry about things, and I use the example of money because money is a big thing that a lot of us sometimes worry about, like whether you're making enough. Maybe you want more, and it could be things like the luxuries that you see other people having, and then you want more. But sometimes you don't you have forgotten that that you have a lot of things with you as well, things in hand, money in the pocket, okay, rather than things that is out of your hand, that's not with you yet, or the money that is still with somebody else that have not paid you yet. Okay, so think about being grateful with the things that you already have. So maybe another word to use is gratitude. Okay, things that heal us, that will set us free, is to be grateful with everything that we already have. I have been in Singapore for many years, and I know Singapore as a nation, we are a wealthy nation. Even I go back to Malaysia, I think the Malaysians always see Singaporeans as people with money, but then in Malaysia, a lot of people from other countries will see people in Malaysia as having a lot of money too. So a lot of times in Singapore, in Malaysia, we always think that we don't have enough. We look out and go shopping. In fact, I was shopping with my daughter just now, and we see, everything is so expensive. So a lot of times, all this inflation, all this increase in prices, and the worry of bills coming in, makes us focus on the money that we do not have. So we think about like, when will my next paycheck come in? When am I going to get a raise? When will the economy recover? When is my stock going to go up again? So we think about all these things, and we worry about these things that we do not have yet. But we forget that we have things in the hand already. We have things in our bank, things in our pocket, money in our pocket, and we forgot to be thankful for those things. Okay, I know even though times are tough, okay, if you are in this part of the world, you're in a developed country, you know that you will not die of hunger. Okay, you will not have enough, okay, to feed yourself and to give you a relatively comfortable life, even though we may be moving towards a recession, right? But we forget, we have, and it's always sufficient, it's always enough, okay? And we rather sometimes, put it aside, put it in a bank, put as an asset, put under our bed, under the carpet or whatever, and we keep it, we store it, and then we end up sometimes hoarding it because we just want to keep it for a sense of safety, trusting in these things, in this money, rather than in our divine being or a God, that will provide for us. So really, this thing that will heal us, will set us free, is really being appreciative of the things that we have, not just worrying about things that we do not have, or when it's the things that we need coming. So yeah, learn to be grateful every day before you sleep. Even when you wake up, even you can write down, 3, 5, 10 things that you want to thank God for, you want to be grateful for. Think about the money that you already have, rather than the money that is coming and you don't see it coming. Okay, so that's the 6th thing, the things in the hand. Okay, and the last thing, the seventh thing that heals and set us free. Okay, I believe this thing is also free. You don't have to pay for it, right? It's what I've been talking about in this channel a lot, okay, which is our dreams and our vision. The dream of who we can become, dreams of the things that we can have, even, the dream of what is our preferred future going to be like, okay, is that thing that will heal you and set you free in 2023. So if you have a vision of what you will become, then you don't worry about the things that that you lack, or you stop focusing on the problems that you're facing. If you have a goal to reach, or a vision of something better, you will be going after this and filling your mind with positive things, with ideas, with strategies, with ways to get there, rather than to worry and to be concerned, to think about the things that you do not have. So important thing to continue your dream, and thank you for joining this channel and following me in the pursuit of your dreams, and and in the process of doing that, to gain development, growth, and just vitality in all these areas in your life, because you have a dream. So that's it. Finally, the 7th thing is to have a dream and to have the vision. Reminder for those of us who struggle with setting resolutions. Every year you set a resolution by December or January, and by February you have forgotten about it, right? And then you give up dreaming, giving up resolution altogether for the rest of the year, only to find yourself next year, when the new year comes, when the hype comes again, and you start to set resolutions again, and then only to fail in February, and then the rest of the 11 month, right, wasting it, and just waiting for 11 more months, to get the adrenaline to start your resolution again. So if that's you, okay, I want you to forget about short-term resolutions, okay, resolutions that only last you at most 1 month, okay. I want you to think about lifelong dreams. So yeah, continue to join me in dreams in your 12 areas. 12 areas is not too much, but if you think it's too much, maybe you streamline into 4, okay. Just 4, maybe do your career or your work, or your business dream. And second thing, maybe your mental, your intellectual development, what you're going to grow in, which area are you learning, and then maybe your relationships, okay, with your family or your friends, better your relationships, and maybe last thing, okay, and I feel the most important component is your spiritual life, that that we are not just physical beings, right? We are also spiritual beings. So when God created us, He created us spirit, okay? And as you know, science is proving the spiritual realm to be real more and more. Yeah, I was talking to that that dreamer who came to my house this morning about how the Nobel Prize winner in the area of physics in 2022 was announced recently, and is won by three physicians, right? That actually proved Einstein wrong. Okay. Okay, the history is this. Okay, there's a concept in quantum physics called quantum mechanics called quantum entanglement. Okay, which is about having two particles, right, that is being set apart, as far as possible. That when one particle moves, okay, in one direction, right, it actually the particle is entangled with the other, such a way that when one move, right, the other one moves as well. So this is, there's no cost, okay, and they are separated, as far in one universe, one side of the universe to the other, and yet, when one particle moves, right, the other particle will move along it. So this is the concept of quantum entanglement, okay, which actually explain things like prayer, things like spiritual impact, right? When you pray for somebody here in this locality, right, somebody from far away can actually experience, the impact of that prayer as well. So quantum entanglement, I link it to the concept of consciousness, right, impacting matter, okay, and it doesn't have to be in close proximity for the impact to happen. So when people describe quantum mechanics and this quantum entanglement, Einstein had a problem with it, because he said that he's uncomfortable with how something happened here, right, can happen here from miles away, because I think he has a theory that he feels that it will be violated, right, if that is true. So he described that there then must be a local variable, there must be something that we do not know yet, right, that causes the impact, that one moves, right, the other one will move at the same time. So he says that there is a local variable, okay, something that we do not know, okay, that is in effect there. So what happens with the Nobel Peace Prize winner is that three physicians has proved Einstein wrong, okay, that quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement is truly what it says it is. Okay, the spookiness of quantum mechanics, still stays. Okay, the weirdness of quantum mechanics still stays, because it's, as far as I'm concerned, describing spiritual things. Okay, so we are not just human beings, but we are also spiritual beings. We are not just physical beings, we are also spiritual beings, and that we have a spiritual life, and we have a God that loves us, and a God that have shown himself to us. Okay, and we need to recognize that, yeah, it's not, everything is not physical. Science has shown us that there are this thing called spiritual things as well, and we are spiritual beings. So set a dream, set a vision of how you can be a better spiritual being as well. Okay, so I hope this is the year also you will discover, okay, you learn about scriptures, you learn about spiritual books, and you learn, what is happening in the spiritual as you experience in the physical. So with that, yeah, I hope you find today's episode beneficial. The 7 things that heals and that sets you free that sometimes you take for granted. Okay, number 1, water. Number 2, sunlight. Number 3, walk a lot or exercise in the gym. Okay. Number 4, sleep well. I wish that tonight you can sleep well as well. If not, there are techniques to help you sleep. Okay, I like to do deep breathing. Again, the breathing exercise before I sleep, and it always, put me into dreamland, very, very quickly. And number 5 is the deep breathing exercise. Okay, number 6 is appreciate the things that you have, not the things that you do not have. And lastly, your ability to dream, and dream as many as 12 areas, if not the 4 areas I talked to you about. And find God, find a spiritual being, the one who created you, and who's your maker, okay, the one who created you, as a source for your spiritual life. So I hope you will discover your spiritual life this year in 2023. So with this, I just want to end this time again with a meditation. Okay, with time of spending with God. So again, I want to wish you all the best. I want to thank you for joining this Wisdom and Confessionals podcast number 13. Okay, so I want to leave you with this time of meditation. So as you close your eyes, you spend the time alone with God. I want you to remember that you are a spiritual being. You are not just a physical being. And that you do not just find physical solutions to your problems, but you can also find spiritual solutions to what you are going through. So just like all the 7 things that I talk about today, that are free, things that will heal you and set you free, know that there is a divine being that will heal you and that will set you free as well. It's not about what you do. It's not about what you have earned, okay, from this spiritual being that will heal you and set you free. But it's about who you are. He is your maker. He made you. He loves you. And He has His hands to heal you and to set you free as well. So don't think everything physical, but think about your spiritual life and how by knowing your maker, it will help you in many, many ways. So with that, I see you next week. I hope you have a great week. So next week is Chinese New Year. Not sure whether I have the time to do this episode, but if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye-bye.